What's up, tribe? How you guys doing today? Hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is your long overdue video for Love Is Season 1, Episode 6, I believe it is. I apologize. I don't have no good excuse. I can only say that I'm sorry that it took me so long to get this video up. I see so much of myself in this episode with Nori. Like 99% of what Nori did in this episode was me in my 20s. Like, it was me. It's what I would have done. What she did is exactly what I would have done in my 20s. I wouldn't do it now, but I would have done it then. And so we see the beginning of the episode. Nori and Yasir, they're in bed. They're having themselves a good little, you know how you do that little morning thing, and they laughing, and he's telling her this crazy story about him getting beat up by a monkey and how his mother came to his rescue and his mother beat the monkey's ass. Or beat the monkey up, excuse me. And Nori is like, that didn't happen. You are not telling the truth. That is a lie. Like, that didn't happen. He was like, you don't believe me? He's like, I'm going to call my mama. So he calls his mother, and his mother co-signs the story. She was like, oh, yeah, it happened. She said, stop telling people you got beat up by a monkey. She said, well, Nori said, well, he said that, you beat the monkey up. She said, I did not beat that monkey up. She said, I beat that monkey's ass. So anyway, they have a good laugh or whatever. So he gets off the phone and he introduces Nori as his friend, right? And so Nori's making his face like, friend, I'm his friend. What the fuck? But then they hang up the phone, and next thing you know, his mama done called back. She said, I'm so sorry. She said, I star 69'd you. I hope you don't mind. Can I talk to my son? And so they talk about something else. And next thing you know, they just show this montage of him and his mother talking. His mother calling him every day. And I mean little stuff. Did you see what Bush said on the news today? Or she's talking about Bill Clinton. Your black president this and your black president that, and they're laughing and joking, but you can tell they have a really great relationship. But I'm just like, she just all willy-nilly calling him over Nori house, like she don't have no problem calling that number, right? So then one particular day, and this, you can tell this went on for a while, maybe a week or so. So one day she calls, and it's the son on the phone, and he's like, hey, daddy, and you see his whole, mannerisms change, like everything. Like he's like you could just see, the love and everything for his son. And his son is talking about how he has a tooth came out, and he waiting for the tooth fairy to come. And, you see it's like, oh, wow. He was like, are you reading those books I sent you? And the tooth fairy, the tooth fairy's going to come and bring you $5. Now, I ain't never had the tooth fairy bring me no $5. I don't remember that. My tooth fairy ain't never bring me more than a 50-cent piece. I guess my teeth was cheap. Anyway, so Yasir is really upset after the call. He gets off the phone. He's really upset. And you see that he said, I need to take a walk. Nori's trying to be like, and Nori said, sounds like the tooth fairy needs to make a visit. And he's like, nah, my mother will take care of it. And she said, but I can hear that you really want to do it. And he was like, I just need to take a walk. So he goes for a walk. By the time he get back from the walk, Nori done packed the bag. She got $5 for the tooth fairy with a little note. And she done got a rental car. And she said, look, let's go. Let's take it up there. She does a cute little thing about, I have a mission from the Tooth Fairy Incorporated for me to deliver this. And he's like, Nori, no, you've done way too much for me. Like, I could not do this. And she said, look, I understand that you want to see your son. She's like, plus I want to meet your mother. Like, basically, it's time for me to meet your mama. My mama had a chance to grill you. I guess it's my turn. And they do. They go up to Oakland. And when they get there, his mother's happy to see him and everything. She's like, I really wish you would have called and let me know. Because, she goes upstairs and puts on her makeup and does her hair, honey. But when he gets there, he does introduce Nori as his girlfriend. So he does clear that up. And then the son comes over and he's all happy, happy to see each other. And his father is there and everything. And you see that they have a really good relationship, even though he hasn't been around for a while. And in the course of the conversation, it comes up that he's not going to these summer class. I mean, excuse me, this Saturday classes, the piano classes and stuff like that. That Yasir got him signed up for and that he's paying for, and he wants to know why is he not going. And the mother says, I don't know, but he just wants to play. He just wants to be a kid. Well, his mother says that, and he's like, but and Yasir has a point. He's like, look. He's got to do twice as much to be half as good. And I'm trying to prepare him. I'm trying to get him ready so that he can be in the room, play the piano, his reading skills on level. Like I'm trying to get him prepared, and I'm busting my ass to pay for these classes that I can't really afford. And his mama is too lazy to take them. And he's getting all worked up and getting all pissed off. And, we see that his mother is sick. They don't really get specifics, but his mother, is something going on with his mom. I don't know if it's diabetes or a heart condition or something, but it's something going on with his mom. But you could definitely see the love, and they've definitely picked up for him, and they're willing to do it. Like, they're willing to allow him to chase his dream, and fill in where they can fill in, When Yasir starts getting upset about him not going to this class, Nori tries to kind of nudge in and say, well, it's just one Saturday. It's okay. And he kind of shuts her down. Like, he doesn't tell her that, but, she put his hand on his lap. And he moved his hand off of her lap. He moves her hand off of his lap like, I got this. So him and his mother sort of get into it, and he's like, I ask you, these are things that I ask you to do. He kind of coming at her some kind of way, right? And she's like, look, we are here doing the best we can taking care of your child. You don't get to come in town and just dictate stuff. And that's when he starts going off about how, he's doing this to create a better life for his son so his son can have these opportunities. And she, I think she understands it, but she's like, look, he's a kid. Let him be a kid, He don't want to spend all Saturday in school and during the week. Let him be a kid. So anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. So anyway, they end up getting, Yasir gets really pissed off, and he's like, let me get the keys. I need to go over there. And his mother is telling him, don't give him them keys. He's hot-headed. Let him cool off. And Nori gives him the keys, but Nori is like, look, why don't you wait until you calm down? Like, go on over there. I understand you need to go over there, but why don't you wait until you calm down a little bit? And he was like, look, Destiny, that's his wife or ex-wife's name, she doesn't respect anything I'm trying to do for my son. And he was like, I need to go handle this. And then he's like, he tells Nori, I'm sorry I brought you here for this ghetto shit. Like, I'm sorry I even brought you here for this. So in the meantime and in between time, let's go back to LA for a minute. So the other story that's going on this episode is we see Angela has been called into the office. Norman has called her in on a Saturday to say, look, I gave you an opportunity to write this script. The script was some shit. Like, what were you thinking? And she was like, look, I was just trying to bring a real storyline in with the humor. Angela is really struggling with really wanting to write dramas. She's just over the whole comedy thing. And Norman is like, look, I'm going to give you an opportunity to rewrite this script because I really like you and I really don't want to have to fire you. But you're going to have to get on board. Like, I get it. I get that you over the whole comedy thing, but this is where you are. This is what I pay you to do. So they spend all day rewriting the script. And the script is ridiculous. Like, by the time they get done, because at first they came up with a really good idea about the guys having to go to the store to get feminine products and them going through the whole, it was a real cute little skit. But then Norman says, it's funny, but we can't do it because we don't have a grocery store set. And I'm not building a whole set for one episode. So whatever we do, it has to take place in one of these 3 locations or we can't do it. So then he comes up with this idea for them to do a pie eating contest with a pig. I thought it was like really ridiculous. And she was like, at first she thought he was joking, but then she realized he was serious. And he knows that she hates the idea. Like, he's telling her, I know you hate this idea, but I need you to go make it happen. And so she does. She writes the script. She's crying. She's struggling through the whole thing. But she does end up writing the script. And she goes back to Norman. And Norman says, look, I know. I get it. He says, you're not the only one that has made sacrifices. You're not the only one that's biting the bullet to do what we do. He said, I know we ain't writing Oscar-winning scripts here. He said, but that's what you signed up for. He said, I compromised when I hired you. I didn't want to hire you. I was told I had to hire a woman. He said, but it was one of the best decisions I made because you are talented. And I can't imagine writing this show without having your opinion in the room. He said, I know you think we don't listen to you and we don't take it into consideration. He said, but I hear you. You know, I don't always change what you want me to change, but I hear you. So she goes back and she writes the script. And like I said, she is struggling. She is struggling. So while this is going on, the producer comes in to talk to Norman. And he said, look, I have this drama that's just come across my desk. He said, and I want you to work on the project. He said, I know you can handle it. And Norman is like, what? He said, yeah. He said, it's a vehicle for, he said, you ever heard of Whitney Houston? Norman is like, Whitney Houston? Of course. He said, okay, it's a 1 hour drama. I need to write the pilot. You know, I told him I can handle it. He said, but you can handle it, right? And Norman is like, yeah, I can handle it. You know, he's like, yeah, thank you. So Angela comes back with her script. And Angela says, look, here's your script. But he told his secretary, he said, you know, I really hate firing people because he's like, I'm gonna like this ain't working. Like I should, you know, even though she ended up writing the script, it was an all day struggle. Like it's dark outside by now. And he said, I really hate firing people. But then when the guy came in with the opportunity to write the drama, I think he was like, okay, got it. Okay, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna get this to work. And she comes in with her script, but she takes her name off it. She rips off the front page and said, here's your script, but I don't want my name on it. She said, this, you know, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but, you know, I'm just going to have to walk. He was like, you can't quit. I was getting ready to fire you. She was like, okay, well, if it makes you feel any better, you could say you fired me. You know, like, the end result is going to be the same. And so then he tells her, he says, look, I have this opportunity. He tells her about the script and everything. He said, so, yeah, I'm firing you from the show. But I want you to work with me on this script. So I'm hiring you for that. And so it ends up working out. And Angela ends up getting what she wants because Angela's letting him know. I mean, because, you know, she just can't do it. And he knows she can't do it. But he also knows she's very talented. So that works out. It works out. But back in Oakland, Nori is having some one-on-one time with Yassir's mother, and they're actually getting along. You know, she's telling Nori, look, you trying too hard. You know what I mean? Like, you are trying too hard. She said, but at the end of the day, excuse me, but at the end of the day, I like you. You know, I think you're good for my son. My son, you know, I can tell he's happy, you know. And that's all she cares about is her son being happy. But you could tell that they're still kind of on edge because they're waiting for him to show up. They're waiting for him to come back, not really knowing what's going to go down. Oh, Lord. So Yassir comes back. He's still all hot and bothered. He's still pissed off. Oh, sorry. It sounds like somebody's at the door. I don't know. And 5 minutes behind him, here come the ex-wife. She comes storming in the house. And she get loud and she get to cussing him out, talking about, you act like I'm not a good mother. You come in whenever every 3 months wanting to change shit up and tell everybody what to do. And, you know, you just not in control. You don't run nothing around here. And so they get to arguing and they in each other's face. And she's basically daring him to hit her. And Yassir's mother's like, don't do it, don't do it, don't buy into it. And Nori, and this is the part where this whole scene, I wouldn't have handled it the way Nori handled it. But Nori decides to put her 2 cents in and tries to come up with a compromise because what they're saying is that the son doesn't like the classes and the son is actually struggling. Like he's struggling and he's feeling stupid, and that's part of the reason. She said, so it's not that I'm too lazy. It's that I don't want my son to keep getting humiliated and embarrassed every week and have him thinking that he's not good enough. And so Nori comes up with this compromise. Maybe we can go tap into and find him some free tutors to help him. But that's the part where I wouldn't have got in it. I would have let them handle their business. But okay, Nori. So then she's looking, so, you know, the ex-wife turns around and looks at Nori like, well, who the fuck is this bitch? And Yassir's like, bitch, who you calling a bitch? And Yassir runs up on her and the mama is like, look, you know, and the mother's played by Loretta Devine. So And she breaks the two of them up, and she's like, look. She turns to Destiny, and she lays Destiny out. She says, look, it's over. He's gone, and he's not coming back. She said, you got pregnant. That didn't work. That didn't keep him. Y'all are not together. Y'all not going to be together. You're going to have to let that go. But then she turns to Yasir, and she lets him have it. She said, look, you my son, and I love you, but here's what you're not going to do. You know, I've agreed to help take care of your child while you chase your dreams. But you're not going to come home and then act like the rest of us don't know what the hell we doing and treat us like some shit. And second guessing everything that's going on. You don't get to do that. So she gave it to, I can't do it no justice. That's the best scene I've seen in a long time. But she gives it to both of them. She gives it to both of them. And when it's all over said and done, Yasir's pissed off. He mad. He mad, but he crying, but he doing that mad cry. Like, he ain't crying like he emotional. He mad crying. And, you know, the mother, Destiny, you know, she all pissed off and in her feelings. But it really lets you know a lot of their situation. And the little boy, you know, his son ends up having to go because the mama's there. And he was like, the tooth fairy's never going to come because I was supposed to stay here tonight. The tooth fairy's not going to know how to find me. And Nori to the rescue. She's got the that little envelope she had when they left Oakland with the tooth fairy with the $5 in it from the tooth fairy to give him, saying, look, the tooth fairy left this for you. So, of course, he's got his $5 and he's happy, you know. So, Nori saves the day. Now, let me say this. All of that I would have done except for two things. One, like I said, I would have not gotten involved. When the two of them were arguing, I wouldn't have put my little 2 cents in, even though it ended up being some really good suggestions and they agreed to do it. It worked out, but I wouldn't have put my 2 cents in. And the second thing I wouldn't have done, when she called me a bitch and ran up in my face, it might have been a problem. It might have been a problem. Nori, you know, she kind of walked off. You know, Nori ain't about that life. But it might have been a problem. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, so it ends up working out, you know. And Yasir once again realizes that he has a good woman, you know. And when they do, you know how they do the flashbacks to the present day Nori and Yasir. You know, Nori says that she never pictured herself dating a man with children for this exact reason. Like, she didn't want the drama. She didn't want to deal with. She said she had her own daddy issues. She said, but, you know, she was all in with Yasir and realized that it's more than just a black and white story. It's not just daddy left and never came back. Like, it's a lot more to the story. And she realized that, you know, she wanted to be a helpmate to help him be a better father and stuff. And like I said, it's a lot of stuff with this show that I love. You know what I mean? A lot of it makes me reflect on myself. A lot of it, because like I said, this whole episode was me. It was me in my 20s. I would have done this with my boyfriend, took him, you know, wherever. So then they get back to LA, and Nori tells Yasir, she says, look, you need to finish your scripts because you're trying to build a future for your son. Like, I get it, but you've got to get it done. You got to get it moving. And she said, I realize that you don't really have anywhere to work right now. So she takes him to her sunroom, and she says, until I finish decorating, this can be your space. This can be your office where you can write, where you can work, and you can finish your scripts. She said, and when you get done, I'll take them to my agent. I'll help you shop them. She said, because you have a vision, you have a dream, you have a goal, but you got to hurry up and get there so you can be with your son, right? So anyway, he hit a gold mine when he hit Nori. Now, I ain't saying he using her, because I do believe that there are genuine feelings there, but honey, he found the right one, baby. Anyway, y'all, this one is really late, and I really apologize, but if y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Peace.